Hey, so I did say the next video was going to be the FPS game, and I have made a start, but look, Brackeys Game Jam is back. You know, the one where 2.5 years ago I forgot it started until halfway through, and only finished months after the deadline. But this time the plan is to actually submit something. As for the theme for this jam, it's what's behind the door. So let's get started with day 1, where I clearly had my priorities straight, as I decided to play Minecraft instead of making a game. Off to a good start. I did make this though. The next time I would look at this plan is when I'm editing this video. Day 2. Despite wasting a day, I somehow decided it was smart to try out a game engine that I've never used before, and that would be Godot. Which, did you know Godot has a mobile app? And that's perfect, since I would be away on a trip for the day. And now that I'm back, let's see what I made on the app. Ah yes, what a fun game. I can already see all the YouTube speedruns. Okay, let's get started with what I do know. Make a 2D scene, add a texture, give it a colour. Nice and easy. And after testing our sprites work, this is what I had. Next I wanted to add a name tag for the sprite, but I didn't know how to center the text. Maybe I'm just being dumb, unless this is Godot's version of struggling to center a div tag. And that's when I realised, if I can't even do this, how am I going to make a game in the remaining 6 days? So I gave up and went back to Unity like the one trick I am. I'll explore Godot another time. Oh, there's now a version control system in Unity. It's almost like updating a piece of software gives you new features. Anyways, whenever I start a new project, first thing I do is make a sprite. This can be a circle, a square, a triangle. Impossible. It's almost like updating a piece of software gives you new features. So I decided on a good old bean and added basic player movement. And to fit in with the theme, I created a very simple door sprite and another variation which you can peek through. But now that I'm looking at this, I realise I should have probably used a reference. I'm definitely getting a full score on the art. Then I put together a gameplay loop, bringing in the ideas from the plan. Whenever you enter a door, you have to decide on an action before entering the next room, which so far all rooms happen to be identical. I never said it was a fun loop. And then it was time for Terraria.
The hole there, Shaggy, be careful.
See ya.
Fucking buy them! Looking ass.
Buy them looking ass is...
You bitch!
On day 3, I submitted an assignment for uni. Day 4. I realised I'm halfway through the jam, with barely any progress. Now it's time to actually get stuff done. The plan is to have a random entity behind each door, starting with the bandit. I decided to make use of the triangle sprite, which was fitting since they're both my enemy. Next I attach a 2D collider to the bandit, except there's no triangle collider. But before I get any more trauma from triangles, the polygon collider comes in clutch. Screw you triangle, bandit. Oh, the game's broken. Day 5. Yeah, progress did not get any faster. I started off the day by grinding on a guy, and after that fun time, I used player press to record which action you selected since the scene is reloaded for each room. I also made it so the door is randomised between the 2 textures I made, but clearly this wasn't the case since I never saw the other door. So either the random range function is lying to me, or I'm just being dumb. Okay, I'm just being dumb. Never mind, I wasn't hallucinating. IntelliSense just can't make up its mind. But that's an easy fix, or so I thought. Now the bandit isn't spawning, and the door isn't working. Well, 3rd time's the charm. And then my laptop dies. Well, at least the game's working. Mostly. Day 6. Next is to work on each of the actions, starting with attack. I created some bullet projectiles so you can shoot entities, although they did need a little nudge. And after I got that sorted, I displayed controls on the screen. And just to make it a little more interesting, there's now a melee attack too. And that's all for day 6. Day 7, the last 24 hours, or the last 19 hours. So here I had a mini reflection of the progress so far, and I came to the final conclusion that I may be a bit behind schedule. Until now I had probably spent maybe an hour or 2 per day working on this game, but let's at least make the last day count. So with the attack action somewhat complete, I started on the insult option. Both the player and the bandit will generate insult bubbles, which you can click on to attack or defend. Watching this back on 3x speed reminds me of Sims arguing, which is fun. And for those interested, to get this arc, I had to learn about Bezier curves, which are kind of like quadratic curves, but more flexible I guess. Next is the befriend option, where I made a slider to time your jump with the bandit. If it lands on green, you jump together and become best friends. The idea comes from online games where you might find a random and you start crouching or jumping together, with no words spoken at all. A truly magical friendship. Anyways, back to the game, I had a mini panic and thought I completely broke it, but turns out my screen was just zoomed in. The next action is bribing entities, and unless you have the skills to somehow scam them whilst being broke, you'll need coins, which are dropped by entities. And yes, it's basically the befriend slider but rotated. And for the last of the 5 actions, since we're running out of time, I'm just going to do as it says and ignore it. It was never even there, okay? And now it's time to work on the consequences for failing each action. For attacking, I added health for both the player and the bandit. If your health reaches 0, it's game over. I also added random movement to the bandit so it's not so repetitive. The health stats also apply for insulting. It's always fun when they can insult you back. Imagine being so bad that you die to emotional damage from a bot. Couldn't be me. For bribing, if you don't have enough coins, you get robbed and attacked by the simplest enemy AI I can make. Except they're actually dangerous, so I had to fix that. For befriending, the same behaviour is used if you fail, although I guess I got so excited about making a new friend I forgot to record an example, so you'll just have to trust me. So now we've got all the actions working, let's see how much time is remaining. Less than 8 hours to go, but it's 3 in the morning, so my choices are to either sleep, or pull out an all-nighter and continue with the game. So place your votes. The answer is, I sleep. Maybe for a bit too long, since I kinda missed the deadline. What a shame. My unplayable game was definitely going to win. If only I didn't waste the first few days, I would have had something more complete, and I would have submitted it on time too. But on another note, did I even meet the theme requirements? Oh, what's behind the door? A bandit. Ooh, let's have a peek through this door. A bandit. I bet you can't guess what's behind the next door. It's a civilian? Yeah, so I decided to continue with the project and add more things behind the door. So starting with the civilian, each entity will have its own interaction. For attacking a civilian, well, look at that sad face. If you end up murdering an innocent civilian, I hope you know you're a bad person. Ignore the occasional insults you receive. Something that you should do is befriend them. Although if you fail, they'll just be disappointed. Bribing is pretty much the same as befriending. Give them coins and they'll be happy. Otherwise, they'll be sad and call you pathetic behind your back. Probably. Insulting them is still a no-no, especially when they only fight back half the time. And that's all for the civilian. The next entity is a monster, which I modelled after a slime, and behaves exactly like a slime. Yep, no issues here. It also seems like entities can climb walls. That's a feature, not a bug. I definitely didn't pick a slime just so I can be lazy and use a circle sprite. I guess I shouldn't be saying that when the bandit is a triangle. Dude thinks they're Spider-Man. Anyways, I sourced out the slime's movement for attacking, and gave them 5 fate points, because I like them more than the bandits. It's nice having more things behind the door now. There's bandits, monsters, apparently civilians, and finally I'm adding a merchant, which is a hexagon. You lot are learning a lot of different shapes with me today. What, you didn't realise you signed up for a maths lesson when you clicked onto this video? That's what happens when you don't read the small print. The original plan was to give them their own custom sprites, but seeing as I've already missed the submission, nobody's going to judge my art. Right. Honestly, I might just turn the door into a rectangle just to keep things consistent. Anyways, merchants have a similar behaviour to civilians. But one cool thing is, if you get on the good side, they heal you for 1 HP, and this works for both bribing and befriending successfully. And with all the entities complete, let's finally add some progression. I implemented a reputation system where your actions decide your current standings, and you cannot escape until it reaches 10. Also notice when you enter the next room, you cannot pick the same action until all 4 have been used. Entities are also random, so they can appear multiple times in a row. The last of the 4 actions partially comes down to luck, so you just have to hope you aren't forced to murder a civilian. And after that, the options are unlocked again. And thanks to this reputation system, the peekable door finally has a use. So there's a level of tactics involved if you want to win quickly. But how do you gain reputation? Well, attacking bandits and monsters will increase it by 2. Befriending a merchant gives you 1, and befriending a civilian gives you 2. Plus you also get that cheeky little heal with the merchant. Even if you fail, you don't lose any reputation. Although the sound of disappointment by itself is already punishment enough. Insulting bandits is another way to gain reputation, and you can also do the same with monsters, although it's kind of a pain since slimes don't have ears, and you can't escape until the action is complete. Befriending and bribing aggressive entities have no effect on reputation, although failing will result in getting attacked, so the player health is still at risk. Well, so far, reaching 10 reputation sounds pretty easy, but it can become negative with violence. Killing a merchant and insulting a civilian are -1 reputation. The worst of all, killing a civilian is -2. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, you're forced to insult another innocent. I haven't put a cap on how negative you can go, so break a leg. Well, that's the main feature sorted. There's still bugs in the game, like being able to shoot yourself if you aim too high, or being able to melee your own bullets. Will I fix these? Nah. Anyways, here's the end screen. I added a high score system, which I decided not to call high score, since you're trying to enter the least amount of doors possible, although I'm kind of tempted to just add that in too, for a bit of fun. Got to do anything to increase the replayability when the game is so bad even the dev doesn't want to play it the way it's supposed to be played. And that's the end of this little project, where editing the video took longer than making the game itself. Also, congrats to this team for winning. Next time I'll actually finish a game on time. Maybe. Thanks for watching.